Now, it's 700 kilometers, that's the phase one. The phase two is these two spurs. We are sectioning the routes. Just last week, we awarded phase one, section one, and section one, phase one is 47.47 kilometers. It's already awarded to High-Tech Construction Limited. We have phase two, which is about 57 kilometers, taking us from the end of phase one. Phase one ends at Lekki Peninsula. It takes off from Ahmad Bello Way to Lekki, Deep Sea Port. And phase two takes us to the boundary between Ogun State and Ondo State. That's about 57 kilometers. We're about to procure that. Now we jumped to Cross River at the end of the project. So that's about 50 kilometers. We're also going to procure that. So in phase one, we have sections 1 to 3, and roughly about 150 kilometers. So the federal government is funding these sections, contract awarded in section 1. So the rest of the sections are going to be funded under EPC plus F. And so it's going to be available for a number of funders, under the lead investor, that's High-Tech Construction Nigeria Limited. So that is available, and while discussion comes up, then there will be a need for us to meet with High-Tech and Minister for Finance. Then session 2 is a PPP program, Lagos Abuja Superhighway is 460 kilometers. Multiply. Let me say that the coastal road is a total of 10 lanes, and at the middle of it is the provision for railway. And it is going to have a lot of toll gates, have a lot of toll stations, and they have a lot of infrastructure, along the corridor, for development, develop hotels, tourism, develop, agricultural production factories. We develop also housing estates all along this corridor. So it's quite very viable. Then the coastal road has the same features. So we intend to do Abuja to Lagos about 5 hours. 5 hours. So it's been developed under PPP by the African Construction Engineering, but it's a very ambitious project. And so I think that, if it is made available to African Development Bank, it's a key project that will be very advantageous to the country. Then, of course, the part of what you have done before, what you have done before, the dualization of Enugu, Abakaliki, Ogoja. So we like the dualization of it from Enugu down to Ogoja, and to the boundary of the Cameroon. We agree with me that I've done a number of works in terms of dualization when I was governor, and the Enugu governor is about doing a bit of the Enugu section. Federal government, is about awarding contract also for the dualization that is left within the Ebonyi axis. But all the same, funding is a major issue. So we put it as an offer to you. So wherever you get to, you meet us, we will be able to surrender so that it could be proper funded. I think this should be 3 key areas that we should be looking at within a residential area. So that's -1. Number 2 is causing a lot of hold up. Yes. People stay on that road for 5 hours. That's another. Tooling policy is that if you want to do a road, you must have an alternative. Well, there is alternative because you can go through the Shagamu and then come over to, please sit down, come over to the Lekki Ekpe axis. That's an alternative, to that. But if you had put in up,
Run into some issues. We stopped tolling. Government has to convert the company has the Lagos government has to take back that loan as a public sector loan. So we move from private sector financing to public sector financing. So that has caused a little bit of discouragement in the bank, and we were at the board 2 weeks ago to talk about road maintenance. And the question came, tell us about Lekito Road, what lesson can we learn, what can we do better to help government to avoid this thing, because the signal is sent to private sector is not good.
what did you tell them?
Well, what we said is that we have learned good lesson, because it has to do with how well we anticipate any stakeholders risk that can actually affect PPP project. Because
Deputy Director, sit down.
Because what we learned from the course of this is the revenues being generated are not enough to meet the obligation because of some lack of stakeholder consultation at the beginning of the structuring of the project. Very good project, but some of the consultation, initial consultation, stakeholder engagement, willingness to pay, all kinds of things were maybe not adequately structured. Of course, there are some particular political issues that also happened during that time that prompted the company issue. So we want to learn a lesson. That's why we want to put it forward to you, to give us that kind of reassurance, and also in any way we can help, as I mentioned, upstream work, to make sure that we analyze all the risks that can pertain to this kind of project, the tolling policy, all kinds of things, so that they are there to facilitate.
Well, I think, thank you very much. You were saying
that the corridor is not just about road. It has to be integrated. We need economic development along, and to really catalyze development. So this is exactly the same vision that we have in the bank. So there's a perfect alignment, and the bank should be able to support. The three priority also fit very well with the way also we try to crowd in private sector into the infrastructure space. So Coastal Highway can help to green it and build climate resiliency, and so on and so forth. And then the Abuja-Lagos Highway should have been there since yesterday. And you're right, it has to be super highway. Because people should be able to. These are two key economic hubs and political hubs that need to connect. And I think you're right. I really put the focus on that. And the third one, dualization of the road between Nigeria and Cameroon, foster regional integration between the two, because I believe Nigeria is Cameroon #1 economic partner, trade partner. So we need to reinforce the modernized infrastructure. So and at the bank we have a series of instruments that can help you at upstream to plan, structure, to better have value for money for the government. So we have instruments that we can put at the government disposal. Midstream is what we call structural, where we come in to do all the analysis, feasibility, and everything that's required. And then, of course, downstream, we have a guarantee product that can help to leverage resources, private sector, public sector, and so on and so forth. So I'm happy that you say that, whatever we find you will surrender, so that we can do. So I like that expression, that we come and have you to actually fund this project. So I think for me, even if I go back to Abidjan, I'm happy, Minister. Because the three priority are actually key, and I think you got it right by not just thinking about road, but what road can do to economic development, and regional integration. So I can say that we are fully on board. We will make sure that we have the preliminary available information about this project, so that we can plan that with CSP and see how we can now support you. We also brought in the managers here for the region. He will say a few words, and then the expert in EPT is also there to say a few words. So maybe with your permission. Let me also just add that we like